All right, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Let the record reflect that this meeting was posted as required by the Texas Open Meetings Act, and we have a quorum. And the first item is a moment of silence. I'd like to take this opportunity, one, to thank the administration and our principals and our ROTC directors. The district today, many of you all were probably there, held several events honoring our veterans throughout our campuses, and I hope some of you were able to attend those events. I want to also, on behalf of this board, take this opportunity to thank all the veterans that we have in our community for the service they gave to their country, to their community, and for the freedoms that we enjoy today. So if everyone would please give us a moment, we'll take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. The next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Strubhart.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight's pledge will be led by Georgina Guerra. Georgina is an 8th grade student at Bella Middle School. She is the Student Council President and NJHS Vice President. Georgina is also the FCA Vice President and a Bella cheerleader. Georgina participates in volleyball, basketball, soccer, and track. Georgina was selected this year as the homecoming queen. She also participates in UIL, where she competes in social studies and Spanish poetry. Her favorite subjects are math and social studies. Georgina will be attending Kano Academy next year and plans to pursue engineering at Texas A&M College Station. Joining her tonight are her parents, Mr. and Ms. Jorge Guerra, her grandmother, Miss Elena Almaguer, and sister Giovanna. Ladies and gentlemen, Georgina Guerra.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Georgina. The next item we have is the PTSA Students of the Month for October 2014. Mr. Strubhart.
Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight, we would like to honor our October City Council PTA Students of the Month from Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, and Early College High School with interviews of each of these students.
My name is Angela Andaverde, and I go to Harlingen High School, and I'm a senior. Inside school, I'm a part of NHS, Student Council, PTSA, UIL. Outside of school, I have a part-time job at an elementary school because I want to be a teacher.
I'm Elizabeth Oxford. I go to Harlingen High School, and I'm in 12th grade. I'm a senior. I'm involved in, the major part of my life is dance. I go to Palm Valley Gymnastics and Dance. I've been there since I was 2. And that's a major point in my life. And in school, I'm involved in PTSA. I just got involved in that. And then I'm also involved in FFA since my freshman year, and I'm also an editor for our school's yearbook.
Just how to be a team player and help out as much as I can and do what I can to help everyone in the school and my team.
Well, from dance, I've learned so many things that I can carry on. I'm really active in it, and I've learned to never give up because it's something that's really hard. I've never been really flexible, so it's helped me with that. And yearbook, I think it's also taught me to be a really good leader, which will help me in the future, especially in college. And so it's just something I can carry on with me throughout my entire life.
I'm passionate about teaching. That's what I want to be when I grow up, as a teacher, and just teaching kids and seeing their faces light up when they learn something or how happy they get. That's what I love.
I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm just a very passionate person. I'm passionate about dance. I love to dance. It's like the thing that I can do to escape from like school and stuff like that. I'm passionate about yearbook, even though it can be really stressful at times. I love doing it in the end, and just seeing the book as the final product, it's just a great feeling.
After graduation, I plan on attending UT at Austin and majoring in math and then getting an alternative teaching certificate.
I really want to go to is Texas A&M. Woo, gig 'em. I really love that school. My whole family has gone there. I'm not really sure what I want to major in, but I'm thinking of either like psychology or forensics, like two completely different things.
I'm Kurt Holscher. I attend Harlingen High School South. I'm in PTSA. I do a lot of community service work with them. I'm in NHS, NTHS. Outside of school, I do a lot of community service with my church.
My name is Christopher Cavazos. I attend Harlingen High School South. I am in PTSA, NHS, NTHS. I'm a part of FBLA and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Outside of school, I'm a part of Boy Scouts of America, and I play on the varsity tennis team.
Basically, if you give back to your community, the community will do the same to you. So it's just all around helping out is a good thing.
I've learned a lot about teamwork and leadership and how essential it is and to be able to lead a group of people.
I really like baseball, and I like baseball because it's a lot of repetition and a lot of practicing, and you need that in everyday life.
Well, I'm passionate about giving back to the community, and my scouting career in Boy Scouts, I've learned a lot about leadership and giving back. Through that, it's made me a better person.
I plan on attending College Station, Texas A&M. I wanted to study architecture and one day open up my own firm.
After graduation, I plan on attending Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas, where I can go into pre-medicine and pursue my goals of becoming an anesthesiologist.
My name is Sosa Fiambe Bueno Cerro de Alonge, but you could call me Fiambe, since it's the only way to pronounce my name. And I'm from Early College High School. From 9th to 11th grade, I used to be in the art club, robotics, engineering, the National Honor Society, rocket club, ecology, and cookie club. I'm currently part of the NHS, which I'm a treasurer.
My name is Ricardo Rios. I'm a senior here at Early College High School. Inside school, I'm in a lot of clubs. I'm in Student Council, FBLA, which is Future Business Leaders of America, robotics or engineering, whichever one you want to call it, drama club, media club, and I help out with yearbook club.
The lessons those clubs taught me are to teach me about the real world, and these clubs make me find my interest in like art and science. But my main thing is science because I love it so much.
Leadership and discipline is one thing that you can learn. They're separate things that you can learn. Especially at the school, you're going to need to learn to manage your time, and it helps you get prepared for the real world, for where you're either going to college and having to do this, or if you're in a business or working, you're going to have to learn to work with your colleagues and work efficiently in as much time as you can.
I'm really passionate about science because I love to experiment with everything, and they help me to teach the kinds of chemicals and the compounds and all of that stuff because the things I learned from science just prepares me for the degree. And I'm going to become a pharmacist someday so I can help people.
Learning, especially for math and science, because I want to be an aerospace engineer for SpaceX whenever it opens up, which would be when we graduate.
Out of all the Texas A&M schools, I really like to go to the one in Kingsville because it's close to my home. My main goal is to become a pharmacist.
I want to attend UTRGV afterwards, go into the aerospace program, and then hopefully eventually move up to SpaceX.
At this time, I would like all the students that are present tonight to stand and be recognized. I would also like all of their parents to stand and be recognized. Mr. President, with your permission, I'd like to ask the board to come forward to have a group photo with the students. Absolutely. Students, would you please come forward for a group photo?
Thank y'all. What an outstanding group of students. We're so fortunate. Y'all are great ambassadors to the school district. Thank y'all very much. The next item on the agenda is the recognition of National Merit Scholars, National Hispanic Scholars, National Achievement Program, and Advanced Placement Scholars. Santiago Villanueva.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. Board members, Dr. Cavazos, superintendent staff, and committee members and parents, and students, of course. Good evening. Again, I am here once again in front of you with great pride of being a member of the HCISD to recognize some great students. But before we begin with these 5 groups of students, I want to recognize a few people that need to be recognized, and that is the principals from the high schools, Mrs. Patty Munoz representing Ms. Munoz, Mr. Layton from South, and Ms. Cynthia Thompson representing Early College High School. Would you please stand? And I certainly want to recognize the counselors who have been helping out on an annual or daily basis. They help me out, and I want to have the counselors stand up. Would you please stand? Students, now it is your turn. As I call your name, please come up to take a picture. I'll be asking Dr. Cavazos and Mr. Mr. Powers to come up and take a photograph with you. Dr. Cavazos, Mr. Powers, please. Parents, if you're representing your student or your child, please come up as well and take a photograph and receive their certificate. Let's begin with group number one. Group number one is made up of National Merit Scholars. This is an academic competition for recognizing scholarships by taking the PSAT in October. Approximately 50,000 students with the highest PSAT scores are notified of their highest scoring status in September or late September, early October. The students with the highest scores are notified that they qualified either for commended or semifinalists. Today we recognize 5 students for commended status. And remember, they're in the top 5% of all the students who took the PSAT, so it's a great recognition. Again, it shows that they can compete with anybody in this country. From Harlingen High School South, Joshua N. Anderson. Not with us tonight, unfortunately, but we need to recognize him as Chance H. Chapman. From South, Christopher J. Hinojosa. Next on the list, Gwendolyn Poulos. And finally on this list, from National Merit Scholars, Matthew T. Ringano. Group number 2, from the National Hispanic Scholar Recognition Program. We're recognized at 2% from the pool of about 200,000 students are recognized for this achievement. Also, it's a combination of PSAT scores and GPA. From Harlingen High School, Melissa R. Pettis. From Harlingen High School South. Unfortunately, she's at a basketball game, the captain of her team, Raida Bull. Next, Jessica Chavez. Christopher Hinojosa. Next is Moises Peña Jr. Next is Christian Peña. Next on the list, Ivan Trevino Jr. is not able to be with us tonight, but Ivan Trevino Jr. Next is Marisa Trevino. Next is Arturo Villarreal. Next is John Anthony I. Fraga. Next is Benjamin Whitman. And honorable mentions for Harlingen High School South, Adriana Rodriguez. Also from South, honorable mention, Jose Sanchez. For Early College High School, National Hispanic recognizing from Early College High School is Ryan Adam Valdez. With the rest of the board members, please please come forward and for a group photo, please. Dr. Cavazos and Mr. Powers, would you please stand up front, please, again? We still have a few more. We now have 3 more groups, distinct groups. They all come under the heading of AP Scholars. AP Scholars are recognized as part of a small group of students, only about 18% of the more than 1 million high school students who took AP exams and performed sufficiently high enough to merit this recognition. The first group qualify as AP Scholars by earning a 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Keep in mind, these are college level exams, and that's a great honor, great accomplishment. For Harlingen High School, we have Conan C. Campos, who is a 2014 graduate. Clara K. Duffy, a 2014 graduate as well. For Harlingen High School, Justin E. McManus. Also 2014 graduate from Harlingen High School is Juan A. Maldonado. Unable to be with us tonight also is Carter Mink, a 2014 graduate. Melissa R. Perez. And unfortunately, the next 3 from Harlingen High could not be with us as well, but they are worthy mentioning. Joseph G. Sisto, Chandler B. Stantine, and Luke Vargas. Representing Harlingen High School South, Joshua N. Anderson. Next on the list is Brittany A. Meeks. Alexis R. Melky. Unable to make it tonight is Arturo C. Olivares. Christian R. Peña. Moisés E. Peña. Gwendolyn P. Poulos. Representing Adelina C. Ramirez, a 2014 graduate, are her parents. Her mother. Next is Adriana G. Rodriguez. A 2014 graduate unable to make it, Joshua Turanay. Unable to make it tonight, Ivan Trevino. And last but not least, from Harlingen High School, the AP Scholars, Marissa Trevino. AP Scholar with Honor is the next group, and they received this distinction by earning a score of 3 or higher on 4 or more AP exams. From Harlingen High School South, a 2014 graduate, Julio S. Beatriz, is unable to make it. Congratulations, Julio. Also 2014 graduate, parents are representing Samar R. Dawi. (2014) graduate from Harlingen High School, representing Quentin Hale, Mrs. Hale. From Harlingen High School South, AP Scholar with Honor. Unfortunately could not make it, Chance H. Chapman. Next is John Anthony I. Fraga. Last of this AP Scholars with Honors is Benjamin G. Whitman. This last group, it's an AP Scholars with Distinction. They received, again, this recognition by receiving an average score of 3.5 on all AP scores taken and scores of 3 or higher with 5 on 5 or more of these exams. Unfortunately, from Harlingen High School, could not make it, Donaldo D. Almazan, a 2014 graduate. From Harlingen High School, Kelly Flurier. Last but not least, and unfortunately could not make it, is Tristan R. Barrera, who is a 2014 graduate. Before we take a group picture, I also want to recognize parents of these students. Without your support, I know they couldn't be here. Parents, please stand. That's it. Group photo, please, board members. Students, I'd ask you to go ahead and sit down, please, for a little bit more. Board members and Dr. Cavazos, again, I thank you for the time that we've spent, but they're worthy of recognition. I hope you have some comments. I believe you will have some comments.
We definitely will have some comments, and I'm going to start with Mrs. Fleurier.
Well, this is fabulous. For students, this truly is my favorite board meeting of the year because I'm so proud of all of you who have worked really, really hard to achieve these amazing results. You represent the highest academic levels that we have. And you have done this over a series of years by taking the most challenging courses and the most challenging examinations, and you've worked the hardest. So it is such an honor for me, it's such a personal privilege to say congratulations and to say how proud we are of you and of your supportive families and of your supportive teachers and faculty. Dr. Cavazos, this truly is the cream of the academic crop. And our future is in your hands. Today, my husband spoke at a veterans ceremony, and he said, this side of the room is now passing the torch to this side of the room. So may I say to you, this side of the room is now passing the torch to this side of the room, and boy, are we in good shape. Congratulations.
Mrs. Young?
I would like to join Mrs. Fleurier in saying that this is my favorite meeting of the whole year because these students have worked hard, as you know, and have done extremely well. Thank you.
thank you very much. And I just want to add, congratulations. Y'all are, like the other students we had tonight, y'all are great ambassadors for this school district. You are the cream of the crop. We look forward to watching your futures. I'm sure there's a lot of doctors, engineers, all kinds of professionals, or whatever you do. I know you'll all succeed very, very well. I also want to compliment the staffs at each of the high schools for working so hard. I know you students worked so hard over the years, taking the harder courses and succeeding at those. And I compliment your faculty also. I also want to recognize tonight one person in the audience who has been a real supporter of this program through the years, and that's Mr. Keeler. In my opinion, one of the finest teachers. And also his better half that makes him what he is, Mrs. Joyce. And I want to thank you. I think it's a real compliment when you've been retired and you come back to watch your students receive these awards. And thank you for all you did. And we'd love to have you back, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is going to be the approval of minutes for the October 14th, 2014 meeting, public hearing first, the October 14, 2014 regular board member meeting, and the November 4th, 2014 team building workshop. I know everyone's had the minutes to review. Are there any corrections or additions to any of these minutes?
Mr. President, I make a motion for approval.
Second.
All right, been moved by Mr. De Leon and seconded by Mrs. Fleurier. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The minutes are approved. The next item is the approval of our consent agenda, our calendar. That first item on there, I know Dr. Cavazos would like to make a few comments, and that is the American Education Week and a few other proclamations.
Mr. President, board members, audience, November 16th through the 22nd is designated as American Education Week. We were reminded that American Education Week presents us with the opportunity to celebrate public education and recognize individuals who are making a difference in our children's education. The week-long celebration features a special observance each day of the week to recognize all the people that make public education possible, beginning with Parents' Day, November 18th, Education Support Professionals Day, November 19th, Educator for a Day, November 20th, and Substitute Educators Day, November 22nd. Public education and public schools are the foundations of our communities and bring us all together in one common purpose, our children. Each of us has a role to play in helping our students succeed. Outside of the classroom, parents, community members nurture the desire to learn in our students, providing our children the tools needed to realize their full potential. When we give our students opportunities to succeed, there is no telling what they may accomplish. And so we recommend the proclamation American Education Week, November 16th through the 22nd, for your approval under consent calendar.
The other items on the consent agenda are award of proposals and contracts, budget amendments, tax refunds, monthly tax collection information, and monthly financial reports, all of which we've had in our packets and reviewed. Is there any comment on any of these particular items?
Mr. President, I move approval of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Been moved by Dr. Pettis and seconded by Mr. McShand. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. The next item that we have on our agenda tonight is the principal's report. And we have tonight Mr. Tony Gonzalez, the principal of Vela Middle School.
Correction, Vela University, Mr. President.
Thank you for that, sir.
Second.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, audience. First, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to share information and highlights showcasing the Vela Middle School family of students and staff. Vela Middle School is currently celebrating its 10-year anniversary. On October 17th, just a couple of weeks ago, we hosted a 10-year celebration honoring Judge Moises V. Vela, along with recognizing student and staff alumni. In addition to celebrating 10 years of existence, we are also celebrating 10 years of excellence. Vela University symbolizes a proud spirit of academics, fine arts, and athletics. In the area of academic performance, I'm proud to share that Vela Middle School students, 8th grade students, who took the Algebra 1 EOC exam had a 100% passing rate. In the area of STAR exams, our students consistently score amongst the highest in the district, region, and state in both reading and math. The active participation of all grade levels in UIL competition has had a tremendous impact on this success. I am especially proud of the tremendous participation of our 6th grade students. In reflecting upon our excellent academic performance at Vela, it must be shared that we have some of the most dedicated teachers and staff in HCISD who are phenomenally dedicated to the academic success of every child. In addition to our great teachers, we have effectively promoted a system of grade level vertical teaming in which grade level teams promote an academic collaborative planning concept for all core teachers. Our tradition of excellence continues in fine arts. Our mighty Vela Band competes at the highest levels. This is especially true in regionals, where our students consistently make up 20% of all the available chairs in the Region 28 All-Region Band. In March 2014, Vela Jazz Band competed and won their first appearance at the Kingsville Jazz Festival, taking home a superior rating and the Grand Champion Trophy. In choir, our Vela Varsity Girls Choir has consistently earned superior ratings in the UIL concert and sight reading. This success has, without a doubt, contributed to the fact that participation in the choral program has exponentially increased in the last 3 years. In orchestra, our Vela orchestra students performed exceptionally well at regionals. In this year's regional competition, there were 12 schools competing with a total of 64 chairs available. I'm happy to announce that of those 64 chairs at region, 30% were earned by our Vela orchestra students. As you can see, our fine arts programs are doing well in all areas. In reflecting on the success of the fine arts program, it is important to note that the opportunity for 6th grade students to take fine arts classes in their first year in middle school has had a direct impact on their success in 7th and 8th grade fine arts classes. Our athletic program continues to flourish at Vela as well. We have had a proud winning tradition in all of our sports. For example, in just our 2nd year of competing in cross country this year, our 8th grade boys won first place and earned a district championship. And this is one of 36 district championships we have won at Vela University in a short 10-year period. Tonight, I share an exciting program being implemented at Vela Middle School and throughout HCISD. The new program is pre-athletics for 6th grade students. Pre-athletic classes are being offered for both male and female students throughout HCISD. We're proud to report that the opportunity for 6th grade male and female students to take pre-athletic classes has been a success at Vela Middle School. In talking with many of our 6th grade students, they have thoroughly enjoyed taking the pre-athletic classes. We have also seen that the vertical alignment being made in athletics from 6th grade to 7th and 8th grade is promoting cohesiveness and unity for all sports. In addition to the increase in vertical alignment of all athletic sports on our campus, we have seen other benefits in 6th grade students taking pre-athletic classes. A great benefit is the sense of belonging and pride that sixth graders have from participating in pre-athletics. Our coaches have done a tremendous job of including sixth grade boys in game day activities such as dressing up and wearing ties on game day, just like our 7th and 8th grade athletes, and being part of our football pep rallies. Another area which has been a benefit in offering pre-athletic courses for sixth graders is in the area of attendance and enrollment. Our participating students make every effort to be at school every day, and we are seeing a correlation to their participation. In addition, several parents who have had their children in private schools or in charter schools have commented that along with Vela's high academic tradition, they and their child were motivated to enroll in sixth grade on our campus because of the pre-athletic program. Overall, the implementation of sixth grade pre-athletics for boys and girls has been a tremendous success. And now, here's a video highlighting pre-athletics sixth grade program at Vela Middle School.
Some of the benefits of the pre-athletics program is it helps kids understand at an early age, which is the sixth grade non-competitive grade age, to see what sports really interest them and grab their attention. And it helps them decide before they get to their 7th grade year whether they want to go the athletics route or the PE route. It also kind of gets them ahead of the game when it comes to the terminology, the drills, the individual drills of the sports pertaining to their interests. We're always trying to be an innovative district, and that goes into form with our department. We want to be an innovative athletic department. So we realize that bringing in the kids in the 7th grade, you almost have to spend 4, 5, 6 weeks early on just to get them acclimated to the sport that they're participating in. So we figured, we have our PE grades classes so big in the 6th grade, but we have a lot of kids already have interest in athletics and in sports going into the 6th grade. Why not have an advanced PE curriculum and program designed so that we can separate the 6th grade PE kids from the 6th grade pre-athletics kids that are really looking into a future in athletics. And it's worked out really great. It's implemented district-wide. It's in all 5 of our middle schools. All 5 principals were fantastic about being open-minded and allowing Coach Creters and I to implement the program with the coaching staffs and the athletic coordinators at the middle school level, along with the help of the high school head coaches who gave us a lot of their drills and a lot of their terminology to disseminate to the middle school coaches. So the way it works out is at all 5 middle schools, it's broken up into 9-week programs. So the first 9 weeks, for example, was girls volleyball, boys football. The second 9 weeks, which is what we're currently on, just started, we are doing boys soccer, girls basketball, and so on and so forth. So it'll be implemented into 4 sections. And I send out the 9-week lessons so that everybody's on the same page. Everybody begins and ends at the same time. And so we have a lot of vertical alignment within our middle schools and high schools now for all sports that are hit upon in our pre-athletics program.
The kids are real excited, and none of them have dropped. Actually, I've been having kids add on to this class, and the class is getting larger almost every week. So it's a good thing for Harlingen. It's a good thing for Vela, and I think it's gonna improve our overall program. And they're building leadership skills, and they're also their work ethic is getting a lot better every day. And starting them in 7th grade, there were some kids undecided, and when we started in the past, some kids were deciding that this wasn't for them, so they dropped out of sports early in the year. And this gives an opportunity for them to decide before they go into the 7th grade level.
I was very excited because football is one of my favorite sports, and this is what this class is about.
I've noticed a big change from day one. The students are not only excited, but they bought into this program with the football players, and I noticed that they're getting stronger and they're getting healthier every day. So there's a lot of benefits. Plus, we don't only, it's not only sports, but it's about life, you know, as far as their work ethic and their behavior and their attitude and their character and their leadership skills. Everything is included in this. So we're building a better overall student.
It's very positive when it comes to fitness and wellness because it gets these kids understanding at a very early age, which is 6th grade, right at the beginning of middle school, the importance of physical fitness and nutrition, especially for those that really want to have a future in athletics with our district. We have 2 great high schools with 2 great athletic departments at these high schools that have a lot of success in all sports. And what we want to make sure that they understand is what it takes to be that great athlete at the high school level when it comes to fitness and nutrition. So they understand at a very young age that there's a big difference. There's a big jump from PE to athletics. And so we want to show them as early as we can so they can make the right decisions moving forward with their schedules.
At this point, feel free to ask any questions or have any comments concerning the presentation.
I want to congratulate you, Mr. Gonzalez. You have an outstanding program there, and I wish I'd had a photograph of Dr. Noyola during your presentation, because I've never seen her so attentive, and she had her grin went from ear to ear, and she was glued on you the whole time, watching everything with pride. And last year I was at the Kano Awards for the top 10%, and she stood next to me as we were handing out certificates with the other board members, and I mean, I'd ask her, well, where did this one go to school? She said, that's one of mine. That's one of mine. That's one of mine. And it was like 50%. I think she even claimed a higher rate than that were from her school. But you're doing all the right things. I mean, do you have a deficiency that you need to improve on? I mean, what a great
somewhere.
What a great report. What a great things you're doing. And to steal something from Dean Demetrius down the road from me here, Mr. McShann, y'all are doing the 3 A's: academics, the arts, and athletics, and you're succeeding and excelling at all 3. And I compliment you on that, and your staff that's here tonight with you. What a great job you're doing. One other thing I want to do is I want to compliment Coach Creeders and Mr. Solorio for this program, the 6th grade pre-athletics program. I think this is wonderful. A great addition to our district, not only for fitness and wellness, but I think that each one of our sports, as these kids enter high school, these kids are gonna be better and better than the years before because of this little preview that they're getting and training in, tennis, football, basketball, volleyball, whatever it be. So congratulations on doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I don't want to belabor, or I guess, add on to what he's saying. Let me try to say something a little differently, and I know that your predecessor obviously is as mentioned, has a lot to do with the success there,
yes,
as you well know. But let me tell you how impressed. You look at the staff behind you, and it's a very cohesive, staff. Culture there is just excellent, and it's been that way. But it's even getting better. It's amazing. I was there one time, I believe. And it was a few months ago, and what impressed me is I was looking around, and I even saw, I was talking to one of the housekeepers, there, and what a novel concept. You have everybody aligned in terms of the college-going atmosphere and the academic approach there, and even they were even taking the time to talk to kids and to tell them how important it is to study hard and to really listen to the teachers and be engaged, and how important some of the sort of life lessons that they could share with the students. And so when you have it aligned to that level, down to the cafeteria workers and the housekeepers and everything else, you guys are doing something special there. So again, kudos, and I really applaud all of the staff behind you, because I know you can't do this alone. You have a great team there, but the culture there is just something very unique. And so I really appreciate you doing the presentation tonight. Very impressed. Keep up the good work. And like you said, we're obviously not there yet. We have a lot more improvements. But we know with your leadership and the folks behind you, we're just going to keep seeing better and better things to come from the students at Vela. So proud of you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Pettis. Appreciate it very much.
Mr. Mr. De Leon, I see you.
Well, I was,
Poised.
I mean, I echo everything that the president and Dr. Pettis said. There was just a little bit of a confusion on the video because I don't really know when it was videotaped because Mr. Salodi was wearing a sweater and I don't know when it's been cold. But I mean, aside from that,
And it wasn't windy outside because the flags were moving.
Gosh, you all.
But aside from that, everything was fantastic. Great job. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Daly. I appreciate that very much. Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Cavazos.
Just to bring a little perspective, and Tony, Mr. Gonzalez, you did an awesome job, and staff, you have raised my children there, along with Dr. Noyola and her great leadership. But I have to remind us all that 10 years ago, when we opened Vela Middle School, that was probably the first campus that your superintendent was involved in opening in Harlingen Public Schools. And since then, we have built remarkable buildings, remarkable programming in Harlingen. But I also want to remind us that this is an initiative and a strategically designed initiative that was rolled out this year responsibly. And with the leadership and the school leadership that we have and the staff that is fully committed, it cannot go wrong. Mr. Gonzalez highlights the fact that we have people enrolling in our district because we're looking at those areas that need to be strengthened. But hands down, we've got to remember that it all starts with the vision of the Board of Trustees. They have allowed us to do our work. They have allowed us to design the programming, implement them, and roll them out responsibly. In that, they adopted the strategic plan in February. We realigned our senior team. And so if you kind of think about that for a minute, on the senior team, I've got Dr. Noyola, who's your chief academic officer, who comes with a wealth of knowledge in middle school and in high school. I've got Lori Romero, who is an expert in the elementary programming. I've got Dr. Rodriguez, who does the secondary programming, who ran our high schools successfully. And I've got Veronica Corton, who started specialty schools in Harlingen. And so that is kudos to the Board of Trustees who continue to set the vision, set the mark high, and we're gonna get there. And so thank you for your leadership, and thank you to the staff. You are a solid staff, you are solidly committed, and you're solidly committed to the 18,700 kids because we have a great brand in HCISD, and we're gonna protect that brand. Thank you for making us a premier district.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, guys.
One parting comment. I was at Vela on the 17th when they honored, they had the 10-year anniversary, and I also had Mo Vela and his family was there. And he is still taking in students, his enrollment. That week, he said he had 6 kids transfer in from other school districts. How much is your enrollment up this year?
We were, I believe we're up about 850 last I checked. So we're probably up about 13 students from last year.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and they're still coming, so congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, George. Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda tonight is the public comments, and I believe we have item number 7, which is matters related to curriculum and instruction. And our first item is approval of out-of-state travel for Harlingen High School South speech debate team to attend the Columbia University Invitational Speech Tournament in New York City on January 22nd through the 27th, 2015. Our presenter is Ms. Brebner.
Superintendent, staff, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, and President Powers, good evening to you all. On behalf of the Harlingen South Speech Drama Debate Team, and as one of its assistant coaches, I am here tonight to ask for your approval to travel out of state so that the team may compete at the Columbia University Invitational Speech Tournament to be held in New York City on January 22nd through the 27th. Currently, we have 6 students who have met the criteria to attend the tournament, but we expect as many as 10 students to qualify by the December 1st deadline. The students would be chaperoned by Mrs. Leanne Ince and myself. We are tremendously grateful for all of your support, and we would be ever more grateful for your permission to travel out of state.
Mr. President, I move approval for the 6 to 10 student, no, I'm just kidding. For the out-of-state travel for Harlingen High School South speech drama debate team to attend the Columbia University Invitational Tournament in New York City in January 2015.
I second the motion.
All right. Moved by Dr. Pettis and seconded by Dr. Muniz. Is there any further comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations. And honor us with more trophies like you do every year, please.
Definitely.
I think you're up again on the next item.
Yes, sir. Again, on behalf of the Harlingen South Speech Drama Debate Team, this time I'm asking for your permission to travel out of state to Cambridge, Massachusetts for the Harvard University Invitational Speech Tournament. This tournament will be held on February 13th through the 17th. We currently have 4 students qualified to attend, but we are expecting as many as 8 students to qualify by the deadline. In the past, Harlingen South has had tremendous success at national tournaments such as Harvard. Just last year, one of our competitors, out of 400 plus entries, placed 3rd overall. Again, myself and Mrs. Leanne Ince would be chaperoning, and we respectfully ask for your permission to travel.
I'd like to move approval of their trip to Harvard, please.
I second the motion.
Okay. Moved by Mrs. Fleurier and seconded by Mrs. Young. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of district and campus performance objectives. Dr. Noyola.
Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, superintendent, staff, and audience. TEC Code 11.251 states that the Board of Trustees shall annually approve the district and campus performance objectives. In previous years at this time, we have brought forward those performance objectives along with the district and campus improvement plans for your review. The performance objectives that we approve, that are approved every year, basically state the what with regards to what is it that we are wanting to accomplish. And then the district plans and the campus plans basically denote the how. How are we going to achieve those performance objectives? So through our strategic planning process, we have actually already identified the performance objectives. We just call them specific results, but they are in essence one and the same. The one piece that we did not do was identify the how, and those were the action ideas. So our design teams, as you have received through your administrative update, are actually in the process of identifying all those action ideas that will get us to those specific results or performance objectives. In fact, they have already completed identifying all the action ideas that will be coming forward during year 1. So when we take all those action ideas and put them together collectively, that becomes our district improvement plan, as well as the campus plans. So you will be receiving those pretty shortly, I would say within the next month or so. They completed those year 1 action ideas, so we'll be compiling them over this next month. And you will be receiving those through an administrative update. But in addition to that, aside from having you go through 29 campus plans and the district plan, one of the things that we have shared with you in previous updates was that as we moved into our transforming teaching and learning committees, we would be bringing those action ideas forward. So you're actually going to be seeing the action ideas not only on paper, but you will be receiving those through the different presentations that will be coming forward at the transforming teaching and learning meetings. So with that said, on the dais, you have a listing of the proposed district and campus performance objectives. You will note that for each goal, we have listed the performance objectives and specific results. Because they are one and the same, I wanted to make sure that you would be able to identify those as having come from the strategic planning process. So you will see that they're identified performance objectives / specific result. And as you read through those, you'll notice that those are the exact specific results that came through strategic plan. But I want to direct your attention to the second page, which is Goal 4. Goal 4 deals quite a bit with ensuring post-secondary and career readiness. And that is where I want to point you to performance objectives 7 through 14. These did not come through strategic planning. part of the expectation of TEA is that we also, within our performance objectives, address all the academic excellence indicators. And so those are specifically in the area of STAR performance, attendance, graduation, dropout, college workforce readiness, and advanced academic programming. So those we went ahead and embedded within Goal 4 to denote that we have addressed performance objectives with regards to those areas. So with that said, at this time, we recommend approval of the 2014-15 district and campus performance objectives.
Mr. President, I move approval as presented by Dr. Noyola.
Moved by Dr. Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Mr. De Leon. Any further discussion?
Mr. President, Doc, very impressed with this. I'm just curious.
Yes, sir.
I see some 95.9 to 96.5 and 80. I'm just kind of curious as to how, give me a sense of an idea. I don't need to know exactly, but I'm curious how we came up with those kinds of.
So we were looking at how much growth do we typically have from year to year, and reviewing previous years from year to year, how much of a growth more or less did we have. We were also looking at what is the general state average, because our goal is always to meet or exceed the state averages. And so in looking at both of those, that's where we determined the amount of growth that we wanted to project.
Wonderful. I would just really look forward to receiving those action ideas. Real curious to see what's on there. But thank you very much.
There was
And I
some
know-
really good stuff
I know
you'll
you've
be
been,
interested in.
you and your team back there have been very, very hard at work. I'm not the only one with bags under their eyes anymore. I see your team with working very hard. So thanks for, except for you, Veronica, except for you. Because of makeup. Thank y'all very much.
All right, we'll proceed to vote on that. Yes, Javier, second.
I'm sorry, I have.
We
I
have more
I
comments.
apologize.
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
Mrs. Fourier.
Excellent report, yes, and I join him. You know, I'm just sitting here eagerly waiting all the specifics. The first time Dr. Cavazos and I ever had any kind of prolonged conversation was when I took the big book in and said, may I meet with you, please? And so we went page by page through all the questions. So see, Dr. Noyola, you have that to look forward to. I was delighted to hear you say it would be appearing in paper also, because otherwise I was going to have to ask for a paper copy, because you can't tear apart something on a disc. So
No,
that's great.
absolutely, and really the big piece, we got all of those action ideas. And in essence, that's what the action ideas are. They're the means by which we improve what we've done in the past. And really, that was the purpose of our whole strategic plan. So now that we've received the action ideas for year one, it's now about putting them all together to make that plan. And so you'll be receiving those.
Very exciting,
We just
very
completed our second design meeting at the end of October, so it's a lot of inputting, so it's just doing that
Oh,
process.
It'll
but
come.
you'll
I'm
be-
not worried about that. As in Les Mis, it'll come. I don't see GT on here anywhere.
We-
And I do
right.
see the increase, the number of students scoring at or above criteria on AP, which we all know we must do, we must work on. But I was looking under special pops, I was looking, I don't see, where's the reference to GT?
It's
And I
not-
hope I'm missing it.
It's actually part of the whole entire Goal 4. And so as you look at the actual plans, it does become a portion in there that it's listed as an actual grouping. It is not. It's actually going to fall within the performance objective 12, 13, and 14, and the role that GT will play within those performance objectives.
Because we do know, though, that AP and GT are not
Correct.
mutual.
Correct, but as we're talking
supportive.
about, correct. They are support, but it is the means by which we service our GT population at the secondary level. And so that's why they're falling within there. But then on the elementary campus improvement plans, this performance objective 12, 13, and 14 will actually transition for the elementary students. And so when we do that, that's where you'll see a lot more of the GT wording being noticed.
I just think it's really important to remember that we do have a responsibility to service GT and secondary, and so therefore perhaps it should be in writing somewhere. Would be my only comment, but other than that, I think it's great. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, I yield.
Thank you, sir. I kind of have on goal number 4, you did a fantastic job and it's pretty specific. But then you go to number performance objective 12, 13, and 14, and it's just kind of pretty ambiguous. Just you're going to increase. But when you go to 9, 8, 9, and 10, you're pretty specific. So was there a strategy behind that?
Your goal, your performance objectives were with 12, 13, and 14, because they are very encompassing of a number of areas, Because when we talk about objective 12, 13, and 14, in addition to the items that are there, what you'll see as some of the indicators that we use for measurement, so you'll see things like SAT performance, PSAT. There's a number of indicators in there. And so it was purposely left general because if not, we would need to be able to do a performance objective for SAT, a performance objective for ACT, a performance objective for the particular AP exams, a performance objective for all of the indicators. So in essence, when we come back and look at these 3 objectives, we're going to do a compilation of all the measurement indicators that we use to determine college and workforce readiness.
It may be just a recommendation that, so that there's some form of accountability in this. You may want to incorporate something to just an ambiguous increase.
And so what we'll have, Mr. De Leon, is actually what we'll do as the measurement indicators. So for example, if we're talking PSAT, what we actually would do is we'd look at, SAT. What we'd look at is what was the performance of SAT in 2013, what's the performance of SAT in 2014, and look at that growth. So in terms of, you are correct, it is general, but when we get down to determining whether we are seeing an increase in the number of students that are participating in those, that's when we'll get down to specifics. So it's almost like having performance objective 12 and underneath it A, B, C, D. So A for SAT, B, ACT, and so forth, and what are the growths that are happening there.
Thank you.
Mr. McShane.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. In reference to the GT, we know there's a set-aside state funding that 5% of our students in the district are funded for GT participation, and that's across the district. At the secondary level, what percentage of our students are we at the 5% threshold, or about? I know that's a specific question, but you might have a general idea as to where we are with that. And
yeah. I believe we're higher than the 5%. We get roughly from the state about $400,000 in GT funds. So we meet the maximum that we can get based on the funding for the GT students.
So then would it be correct to say then we're subsidizing from local funds beyond the state funded amount?
Absolutely. We spent about $1.6 million in GT programs.
So, Ms. Fleury, I know it didn't say here, but we are going above and beyond what is the minimum requirement funded. So we're subsidizing, my goodness, almost 3 times what we were allowed at $400,000 if we spending $1.2 million. So we have a lot more students participating in the GT programs across the district. Would that be a correct assumption? Okay.
My concern is how we are serving them post-elementary, but that's a discussion that we will have. And what are we doing specifically in addition to inclusion into the pre-AP and AP programming?
And there are standards, Mrs. Fleury, that the state has put out for our secondary students with regards to projects and things of that nature that are very specific to our GT students. So as we move into secondary, in particular, so I'll speak to a little bit more about middle school. There are some specific activities that the students are required to participate in that are separate from the AP curriculum. So you could have some GT students sitting in a pre-AP class, but aside from that, there are specific pieces that need to be provided to them as part of the state requirements. So those are currently in effect, and we do provide those types of trainings and activities at those levels.
One word, just comment. I think these are excellent comments, but it just dawned on me that at some point in time, when we see these action items, these action ideas, it seems to me, I know Julio's going to be on them, with the magnifying glass, because at some point we need to align these with our budget, and I'm wondering, and I'm curious to see what, what's the price tag and all it's going to be, because if we're real about this, then if it's not attached to the budget, it ain't gonna happen, right?
Right.
And so I'd be curious to know. I know that you're on it, but to make sure that happens, because or else if we don't, we won't have any fidelity, to that.
Right. And actually, we talked about that earlier this week. and identifying the cost to the strategic plan items. So like that, we can identify the funding for those items prior to allocating any additional resources.
And part of the process, Dr. Pettis, as these design teams were meeting, and part of that action planning process, as they identified an action idea, that they actually had to go pretty in depth and determine what are the costs associated with the implementation of this particular action idea. Once those action ideas all came together, we had to bring them together and identify, so what's the price tag of implementing all of these action ideas, whatever number they wound up being for year one. And as we move forward, that's part of that piece that we have to do for our district improvement plan, is doing a compilation of what's the total cost for each of these implementations. Fortunately, Julio has already set aside certain amount of fundings to accomplish those tasks. As of right now, I will say that our year one action ideas, there was not a lot of expenditures, because year one for a number of the action ideas was research and evaluation to determine at what point will we be able to go to full implementation, and what does those responsible rollouts look like to be able to truly accomplish what we're trying to achieve, and it not being just an idea but an actual action that we're putting in place.
Any other further discussion? All right, at this time, we've already have a motion and a second on the floor. We'll proceed to go ahead and vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. The next item is the approval of Texas Accountability Intervention Systems Campus Improvement Plan for Travis Elementary. Mrs. Romero.
Good evening again. Just a follow up to the presentation we had at 5:45. Ms. Salinas and myself, we need your approval on the plan, if you're okay with that.
Okay. I think we were all present for the special meeting
Yes,
or hearing.
President, I move approval of the Texas Accountability Intervention System Campus Improvement Plan for Travis Elementary.
And I'll second the motion.
Moved by Mr. McShane and seconded by Mrs. Young. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The plan is approved. The next item on the agenda is matters relating to transportation and school support. Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee report, Dr. Cavazos.
Mr. President, board members, audience, senior team, at the Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee of November 4th, we had one item that was presented. It speaks to the talent acquisition update, preparing for the 2015 presentation. At that meeting, there was a presentation done by Mrs. Corton, who oversees talent acquisition, and her design team was present. That was an example of action ideas coming forward from design teams. I'll remind the board that we currently have 8 active design teams working simultaneously to ensure that we vet out the action ideas and that they are things that we're going to do, not necessarily in addition to what we're currently doing, but in lieu of some of the things that we're doing. Talent acquisition has received a lot of momentum last year as we launched it after the approval of the strategic plan. This year, we intend to refine it even further to align the rubric or the pre-screening process to the new teacher evaluation system set forth by the state that is now going into year 2 of pilot. Thorough conversation was held with the committee. We remind again that there's a lot of work in the area of talent acquisition as those action ideas become presentable and we're ready to come forward with the committee. You will begin to see a lot more presentations at the Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee strictly aligned to the specific result statements and those action design teams that are currently working those areas. We had a great turnout at that committee. We had the entire design committee here to answer any questions, and so we look forward to future conversations that are going to be directly aligned to the strategic plan. I'll remind the entire group that adoption of the strategic plan in HCISD was not something that it was just an exercise that we went through, but it's truly guiding the work and the landscape for the next 3 to 5 years for this district. And I thank you, board members, for your support in that. And I turn it over to our chair, Dr. Pettis, if he'd like to add.
Just a brief comment, and I apologize to President Powers and to my other board members. I was late, and to Veronica, I missed your presentation. I got there at the tail end, but I did witness enough, and I just want to make the following comments, and maybe I'll ask for Mrs. Fleury or Mr. Powers to say a few comments of their own. But the comments I'll make is this: it's amazing to me that when we approved the strategic plan. Back when we did, a lot of districts, and I've said this before, and I just think it bears mentioning again, it's so important, that a lot of districts do this kind of exercise and then sort of put it on a shelf somewhere. And kudos to you, Dr. Cavazos. I knew that we were going to be in for a special ride when you shared with us your organizational chart. And that, to me, I thought was really the beginning of something very profound that was going to happen because we were going to have fidelity to the strategic plan. And then we see this now coming to fruition with your 8 design teams. And again, awesome report with the sort of update on talent acquisition. I continue to be impressed with what comes forth from yourself and the staff. We are not going to wait for Austin or anybody else to tell us what needs to be done, and that's the beauty of this strategic plan and the work we put into it. Is that we're going to come forth with our own great ideas to really transform the landscape of public education and to align ourselves with UTRGV and the community and the parents and bring everybody along and take a holistic, approach and have a collective impact model. And I really again congratulate you and great presentation. And I'm sure that we're going to hear many more special things to come. So thank you.
I don't think it's possible to improve upon that. It was an extraordinary presentation, and we thank you very much. I think all of us, our minds were spinning by the time Ms. Corton was finishing up, but I think you had a fabulous summary, Nolan. Thank you.
I do too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Veronica. Let's move on to the next item, which is matters relating to human resources. The first item is approval of sick leave bank for the 2014-2015 school year. Mrs. Cortez.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, superintendent staff. Agenda item number 9A is a request for the continuance of the sick leave bank for the 14-15 school year as per board policy DEC local. The sick leave bank was created to provide additional paid sick leave days to its members in the event of a catastrophic illness or injury, which leaves a member unable to perform his or her duties and causes substantial loss of income. You do have a detailed report which indicates the sick leave bank days donated and used for 13-14 and the balance for the 14-15 school year. Your consideration is appreciated. Does anyone have any questions?
Make a motion for approval.
Second the motion.
Moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion?
I think it's served this district exceedingly well and under good management, so.
Thank you, Mrs. Ferrier.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion is carries. Number 2 is approval of sick leave bank handbook for the 2014-2015 school year. Mrs. Cortez.
Thank you again, Mr. President. The sick leave bank handbook offers guidelines on matters such as eligibility and regulations for joining the sick leave bank, process of requesting days for the bank, granting days from the bank, and duties and responsibility of the committee members. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Any significant changes or?
There are no changes. It's the same information as last year.
Same question.
Move approval.
No, that was my same question. Second.
Moved by Dr. Pettis, seconded by Mr. De Leon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The next one is approval of PDAS appraiser for 2014-2015. Mrs. Rosalinda Vargas.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Each year we bring forward appraisers for the Professional Development Appraisal System, or our teacher evaluation system. And tonight we are recommending our newest assistant principal at Vela University, Nelda Alonso, to be a PDAS appraiser for the 2014-15 school year. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I move approval.
Been moved by Mrs. Fleury,
Second the motion.
second by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion approved. The next item is approval of Board Policy Update 100 on second reading. Mrs. Vargas.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, board members. We bring for your consideration and approval revisions to legal and local policies in Policy Update 100 on second reading. These policies were discussed at our last Policy Audit Committee meeting. Ms. Fleurier serves as our committee chair and may have additional comments to share with us this evening. And I'll be glad to answer any questions, and we recommend approval.
I think we had a good discussion, and certainly we had an excellent discussion during our committee meeting last time, and we do concur with moving ahead with approval on board policy for the second reading.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Mrs. Fleurier.
I'm sorry. Yes, we do move forward.
Seconded by Mr.
As a
DeLeon.
motion. As a motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Matters related to district operations, Mr. Tapia, Facilities Committee report.
Board President Powers, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. We had a Facilities Committee meeting on November 4th, and we went over the update on the school of health professions, the progress of the construction, and the newest timelines of opening. Right now, we're projecting December 1st as the first day of school at the new facility. We also went over the school bond projects. We went over the aquatic center, the progress there, and the timelines as per the last meeting. We went over several small additions, like at Jefferson Wing, the Harlingen kitchen renovations, and several small additions and restrooms and pavilions at various elementary schools. We also had a construction funds report from Mr. Julio Cavazos, and I'll open it up for any questions you may have.
Mr. Tapia, just a question in terms of, we still on I guess it's December the 17th, we're gonna have a 10 a.m. Ribbon cutting and then a 5:30 p.m. community reception. Is that still?
Yes, sir.
planned?
That's still
That's
in motion, and
Yes,
it's
sir.
still planned for that. Students will report to the new building December 1st. December 2nd, we will host our facility committee meeting, our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee meeting at the site, and that'll give you a chance to get a tour before the reception and ribbon cutting. And then that night, we're also scheduled for a special board meeting.
Excellent.
When's the ribbon cutting?
December 17th, you'll be receiving a save the date for December 17th. In the morning, will be ribbon cutting, and the afternoon will be a reception open to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Mr. McShane, since you're the chair of the committee?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We have addressed some of the issues around the School of Health Professions, as well as the Natatorium Aquatic Center. I'm pleased to say that the architects, working with Mr. Tapia, of course, Dr. Cavazos, we're pleased with where we are at this point. You probably read in the Valley Morning Star a comprehensive article written about particularly the School of Health Professions. And I want to thank staff for their input regarding the status as well as the progress of having our students at the new Health Professions Center the first week of December. So we're very pleased with the work. I want to thank you, Mr. Tapia, and your staff, of course, Mr. Cavazos, for moving along the facilities in a way that it's in the best interest of our students. And so I want to thank you all for doing great work. As I said, if we err, we're gonna err on the side of students, and not for others that think that we should be doing some things. But we put our students first, making sure that we're in compliance, but more importantly, that they are ready to continue to reach their goals. That is, to be student learners at a high level. So we're pleased with the facilities report, and again, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McShane. Any other comments? Okay, we'll move along. The next item is item 11, adjournment to closed session or executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082 of the Open Meetings Act for the following purposes. 1, discuss employment of teachers and other professional staff. and 2, discussion and purchase of real property. This time, we will adjourn into closed session. We reconvene into open session to take matters discussed in executive session under consideration. Number 1, consider employment of teachers and other professional staff. Do we have a motion?
I move approval to employ the teachers and other staff as recommended by administration.
Second?
Moved by Mr. McShann, seconded by Mr. De Leon. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes. The second item is consideration of purchase of real property.
Motion to approve the purchase of real property as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Pettis, seconded by Mrs. Fleurier, that we
Enter negotiations.
enter into negotiations as discussed in executive session and authorize the superintendent to pursue accordingly.
Exactly.
All right, is there any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.
Good meeting.
Excellent.